Napoli remain your leaders over in Italy as chaos descends over in the Fiorentina Internazionale game to cause absolute bedlam. What we're talking about, we'll tell you all about it next. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction video. Today is all about match number 15, that's right, over in Serie A. We'll get to that in a second. If you know where you've been, smash your subscribe button, your one-stop shop for Serie A, Papanovas, world football. We're going to all hear under one rooski. That's right, game suspended between Fiorentina and Internazionale as some chaos descends on the pitch to cause absolute bedlam for the big boys, Fiorentina and Internazionale. But Napoli remain tip at the top of the table, of course, with an important win this past weekend. We'll take a look at that and more in a second. Big shout out to the VIPs, the members, you know who you are. Big shout out to the patrons as well. You guys are fantastic. So what we're going to do now is revisit those last results, bring you bang up to date with that and the Superbru, and then kick on forward to the next round of games. So let's get into it. Alrighty then, folks, we're now looking forward to those next round of games over in Italy. But we're going to start by revisiting the old ones, that's right. And the old ones look a little bit like this. That's right, Cagliari with the big 1-0 win over Verona. Como only drawn with Monza this past weekend, with Milan picking up big 3 points with a 3-0 win over Empoli. Bologna also winning 3-0 win in the end, just as I predicted. Well, I went with a 1-0 win, if you know what I mean. Udinese losing to Genoa. Parma, though, shock of the round, beating Lazio 3-1 winners in their own backyard. Napoli kept it tight with a 1-0 win over Torino. Fiorentina Internazionale suspended, player down. It was in a coma, and of course I think he's come out at the end now, and things are starting looking good for him. But absolute chaos. And I'm sure we'll find out what went on there and the repercussions for them as well. Meanwhile, Lecce and Juventus 1-1 in the end, and Roma under Cagliari Claudio Ranieri, losing to Atalanta with a 2-0 win. Now the table looks a little bit like this, guys, as you see it. Napoli 32 points for them at the moment, looking pretty damn fantastic. Just 1 point clear though over Atalanta. Can they do the unthinkable? They, of course, on an amazing run of games, winning 5 of the bounce. Internazionale, they're hot on their tails as well, 28 points, and they do have that game in hand, and if they were to win that, they would be right on the knocking on the door of Napoli. Fiorentina also within the mixer, and also within striking distance, of course, in chaos as well. Lazio fall off the heat a little bit with a big fat loss. Venezia, Monza, and Como going down as of right now. Meanwhile, over in the Superbru, have a little look at this then. It is Shepherd. Wow, we are 13.5 points this past week with TAP up there alongside them. And alongside with them is Dreamali. Of course, they're in the medal positions with Saki, Raymond Renton also in hot pursuit. Me, I'm all the way down there with 7 points. It's good, not too bad. It'll keep me in the mixer, of course. And add that to the mixer there, we do see Raymond Renton running away with it with 153 points this past week. Summer of 2018, down 1 spot to number 2 with Jake Harmon remaining in the bronze medal spot. As for me, I am where I am. I am 15th, which is good. I am down 2 spots, though. Shepherd overtaking me with, of course, his yellow jersey. Jimmy won with a wooden spoon, which, of course, he's not going to be happy about either. But if you see your name in there, folks, please smash that like, smash your subscribe, and see just how well you can do next time around. Speaking of next time around, this is, of course, the link if you want to get involved. It is 100% free, and we are looking forward to those next round of games, which should be on the screen right about now. That's right. Look at these guys. Absolute bedlam coming at you over in Italy. We're going to start with a double header on Friday night. That's right. It is Internazionale. It is Parma. Let's get in the deep end then and have a look at it. Internazionale sitting in third in the table, 28 points for the campaign, unbeaten in their last 6 games on 92% form. They're up against Parma under Fabio Peccia. They're on 11th in the table, just 15 points for the campaign. They're on 50% form, winning 2, losing 2, and drawing 2 over the last 6. Coming at you at the Giuseppe Meazza. These two sides have played 52 times since 1993. 23 wins for Inter, 15 wins Parma, 14 draws between the last set of games there. Last time around that these two sides played in the league at this venue, it was a 2-2 draw back in October 2020. Meanwhile, Internazionale on the back of that, the last completed game for Inter, 1-0 win it was over Leipzig. Parma picking up that massive win over high-flying Lazio. The odds here, 11-2 on though, is your Internazionale, 6-1 is the draw, and 12-1, your Parma. Parma picking up a big win last time around against one of the big heavy hitters. Can they do it again? I don't think so. Internazionale winning this one, 2-0 winners on the night. But what about the game over in Atalanta? Wow, as they host AC Milan at the Guais Stadium. Atalanta winning 6 on the bounce. They are second. 31 points for the campaign, up against 7th placed AC Milan under Paulo Fonseca, who are also unbeaten in the last 6. They played 51 times since 1993, 12 wins for Atalanta, 24 wins AC Milan, 15 draws between the two sides. The last time they played at this venue, the Guay Stadium, was a 3-2 win for Atalanta, who are unbeaten against AC Milan over the last 3, picking up a couple of wins and just that one draw. Atalanta on successive away wins, 3 away wins on the spin, beating Parma, Young Boys Bern and Roma. The last time they were at this venue, they picked up a 2-1 win over Udinese. Milan, though, back-to-back wins for themselves, beating Slovan Bratislava on the road and then following that up with a 3-0 win over Empoli this past weekend. The odds, though, 20-19 on your Atalanta, 12-5 is the draw, 3-1 is your away win. Could be a draw, but I think Atalanta are just killing it at the moment. Gonna go with another win, 2-1 win to really, really cement themselves as title contenders once again. We go to Genoa, though, up against Torino on a triple header on Saturday, December the 7th. Genoa under Patrick Vieira, new manager bounce for them. Unbeaten now in the last 4 matches. They are 14th for the table with 14 points to the name. Up against Torino without a win in the last 5. They're on 25% form for them right now, sitting in 12th with 15 points to the name. Coming out to the Luigi Ferraris. They played each other 44 times since 1993. 12 wins for Genoa, 18 wins Torino, 14 draws between the two sides. The last time they played at this venue, it was a 0-0 draw back in January 2024. Genoa, though, are unbeaten against Torino in back-to-back games at this very venue. But they're coming in also on the back of that 2-0 win over Udinese on the road. Torino losing to Napoli as well on this past weekend. 29-20 is your Genoa, 21-10 is the draw, 21-10 is your Torino. It could be a draw here, guys. It could really be a draw. Sitting on the fence on this one, but with that new manager bounce, I'm slightly moving my goalposts here in favour of Genoa, but I'm going to still stick it out with my draw in the end. Juventus up against Bologna in the Thiago Motta derby. That's right. The current head coach of Juventus on 6th in the table, 67% form for them right now, unbeaten in at least the last 6 games up against his old club, which is of course Bologna, under the stewardship of Vincenzo Italiano, who have won back-to-back games. They sit in 8th, 21 points up against Juventus 6th and 26 points, who are the draw kings, picking up 4 draws at the last 5. This one's coming at you at the Allianz Stadium. They played 52 times since 1996, 37 wins for Juventus, just 2 for Bologna. There's been 13 draws between the two sides. And speaking of draws, 4 of the last 5 of these games between these two sides in all venues have ended up all square, with the one and only victory in amongst that was at this venue. Juventus coming out on top with a 3-0 win back in October 2022. Juventus, though, have drawn 3 on the bounce. They've drawn with Milan, Aston Villa, and now Lecce most recently, but all 3 of those games were on the road. The last time they played at home, they picked up a 2-0 win over Torino. But Bologna on the back of successive wins, successive clean sheets as well, picking up a 3-0 win over Venezia and a 4-0 win over Monza. That was in the Coppa Italia round of 16. The odds, though, for this one, Juventus 10-7 on for the victory, 40-5 the draw, 50-4 your away win. Juventus should win this game. Thiago Motta doing all right without causing too much fanfare. Go with the 2-0 win for Juventus at home. Roma up against Lecce, also on Saturday, December the 7th. It's Claudio Ranieri's boys, who are winless in the last 6 matches. They're in trouble, guys, right now. They are in trouble. They're down to 15 with 13 points for the campaign. I don't think this was the right call for them as coach. They're an attractive club. They should have got a better manager. No disrespect to Claudio Ranieri. He might get enough points for them to be mid-table, but realistically, they should be competing for top 6, maybe even more than that. Up against Lecce and Marco Giampaolo, they are 16th for the table, 13 points for the campaign, just 1 defeat though in the last 5. But they played each other 29 times since 1993. 21 wins for Roma, 1 win for Lecce, and 7 draws. Now, this is a must-win game for Claudio Ranieri when you look at those stats. The last time they played at this venue was a 2-1 win for Roma, who've won 4 in the bounce against Lecce at this very venue. So it's there. It's there. They have to do it. Roma, though, losing to Atalanta most recently. Lecce on the back of that 1-1 draw against Juventus, who ain't no slouches, guys. There ain't no slouches. 50-8 on is your Roma. Raider 1. The draw, 5-1 your long shots. Roma must win this game, and I'm going with a win. It might not be pretty, but it's enough to get the wheels in motion for Claudio Ranieri, who we all like. He's the Mr. Nice Guy of football. We all love him. We all want to see him do well. And of course, he needs to get things going out fast. Fiorentina, though, they're up against Cagliari. What a season they're having at the moment. But of course, a bit of chaos last time around. They're up against Cagliari under Stadio Armantio Franchi. Fiorentina under Rafael Palladino. They are 4th in the table with 28 points for the campaign, winning 5 of the last 6. Up against Cagliari under David Nicola, unbeaten in the last 3. Just 1 win, though, in the last 6. They are 13th with 14 points to the name. They played each other 48 times since 1994. 24 wins. Fiorentina, 12 wins. Cagliari, 12 draws between the two sides. The last time they played at this venue, it was a 3-0 win for Fiorentina, who are unbeaten against Cagliari over the last 6, picking up 4 wins and a couple of draws. But coming into this, the last completed game for Fiorentina was a 3-2 win, narrow win over Paphos over in the Conference League there. Meanwhile, Cagliari also picking up a big win over Hellas Verona in the league last time around. The odds here, 25-12 is your Fiorentina, 7-2 the draw, 5-1. Your away win, that's Cagliari. Ain't happening here though. 2-0 winners. Fiorentina taking all 3 points once again. Verona up against Empoli coming out on the Sunday, December the 8th. They played each other 17 times since 2004, 5 wins apiece and 7 draws. Verona, though, down in 17th in the table with just 12 points, just 1 win in the last 6. They're on a woeful 17% form, which equates to 5 defeats in the last 6. Empoli under Roberto Di Biasa, they are 42% form for them right now, just 1 win in the last 6 also, but they are picking up the odd draw here and there. 3 draws in the last 6. They're at 10th right now with 16 points for the campaign. Last time around, though, over at this very venue, which is, of course, the Stadio Maricanto Bertagodi, it was a 2-1 win for Verona back in January 2024 over in Serie A. Verona, though, on the back of that 1-0 loss to Cagliari to make it back-to-back games without a goal. Meanwhile, Empoli on the back of that 3-0 loss to AC Milan, which was quite a heavy away defeat for them as well. The odds for this one for Verona are 8-5 for the victory, 21-10 is your Empoli, 50-8 is your draw. Could be a coin flip in the air here. That's why I've gone with the draw in the end. 1-1 doesn't do anybody any favours as they try to remain in the division. Venezia up against Como, another tight one coming at you over at Venezia, the Stadio Pierluigi Penzo. Venezia are 4 defeats on the spin. They are rock bottom with 8 points on the campaign under Eusebio Di Francesco. Up against Como and Cesc Fabregas, winless in the last 6 matches. They're on 18th in the table, 11 points for the campaign. Speaking of 11, they've played 11 times, these two clubs, since 2003. 4 wins apiece and 3 draws. The last time they played at Venezia, it was a 3-0 win for those guys, the hosts, back in August 2023 in Serie B. The last 4 matches have gone in favour of the host, whoever they will be, whether it was Como or Venezia, and they've won each and every time they hosted the match. Venezia, though, on the back of that 3-0 loss to Bologna, back-to-back games now without a goal. In fact, they've only scored 1 goal in the last 4 games combined. Como grinding out some home draws, or at least draws, 2 draws at last 3. Picking up a draw last round against Monza. The odds for this one, though, Como are 70-10. Venezia 70-10, 21-10 is the draw. Bookies can't decide. Can I decide? I don't think so. Going with surprise. Throwing it right, a little spanner in the works here. We're going to go with a 1-0 shock win. Venezia getting their first win in a long, long time against fellow strugglers, Como. What a game, though, we have over in Napoli. Is of course, Naples up against Lazio. Coming at you, the Stadio Diamago Maradona Stadium is Napoli under Antonio Conte. They are just 1 defeat in the last 6. They are top. 32 points for the campaign up against Lazio. 75% form for them. Also just 1 defeat in the last 6. They are 5th with 28 points for the campaign. 52 times they have played since 1993, 24 wins for Napoli, 18 wins Lazio. There's been 10 draws between the two, including the last time they played, which was in Rome, 0-0, back in January 2024. However, the last time they played at this very venue, it was a 2-1 win for Lazio, that's right. In fact, the home side hasn't won this game in the last 5 matches. Wow, wow, wee, wow. Napoli, though, are on a good bit of run right now. Back-to-back clean sheets, picking up 1-0 wins over Roma and Torino. Lazio, though, losing to Parma most recently, make it back-to-back games without a win. The odds, though, for this one, we're looking at Napoli 10-9 on for the victory. 10-3 is your Lazio. 12-5 is the draw. Could be a draw, but I'm going to back Antonio Conte, who is the real bloody deal. Goal fest here. 5 goals in it. 3-2 in the end. Napoli taking the points. And then we wrap it up on Monday, December the 9th. Is Monza, it's Udinese coming out to the Stadio Briatano. Alessandro Nesta's boys. 19th for the table, just 10 points for the campaign. Up against Udinese under Costa Rungic, who are 9th for the table, 17 points for the campaign. Winless, though, in the last 5 matches. Speaking of 5 matches, they've played 5 times, these two clubs, since 2022, 1 win apiece, and there's been 3 draws between the two sides, including the last 3 games between them have all ended up all square. We've got a 2-2, we had a 1-1, and we had a 0-0. What we're going to get this time around, well, we'll see. Monza, though, on the back of a 4-0 loss to Bologna, that was in the Coppa Italia, round of 16. Udinese losing to Genoa as well this past weekend as well. The odds for this one, we're looking at your Monza 70-10 for the victory, 95 is your Udinese, 2-1 is your way. I mean, it could be a draw here as well. Yes, it is. 1-1 to continue the suit of draws. This will be 4 draws on the spin between these two sides, of course, which doesn't do them any favours. That, my friends, will complete my picks. Don't forget to use the link if you want to get involved. It is 100% free. We'll see you on the other side, guys. Subscribe, smash the like, catch you later. But until then, we're done.